Okay. So yeah, good morning everybody. It's Gab Champ. So I'm currently at the Waterfront Restaurant. It's really a great restaurant in Sosua. So for the episode of today, I was thinking about something and I wanted to share. Um, the question was, when did I stop being so afraid of failing? Because I remember a version of myself that wanted certainty before making every important decision. I wanted guarantees. I wanted to know everything was going to work out. And I wanted people to tell me, yeah, yeah, you're making the right choice. And somehow along the way, that completely changed. I don't think it happened because I certainly became more confident. I don't think confidence works that way. I think that life slowly changed my definition of confidence because when I was younger, I thought that confidence was just believing yourself. Now I think that confidence is remember yourself who the fuck you are. Remember everything you've already survived because when I look back, I don't really see someone who always made good decisions. I see someone who kept rebuilding. There was a period of my life when I spent almost 5 years in what I consider now to be like a cult. And anyways, I wrote a book about it. So if you want to read it, I'll put the link in the comments. So the title of the book is The Code of a Spiritual Pimp, decoding the tactics in a cultic organization. In fact, it's in French. Well, we have the French version, we have the English version, but in French is démystifier les tactiques de manipulation dans les cultes. So, at that time, I really believed that I found the truth, I found faith. So, looking back now, I realized that I handed something over that I didn't even know I was giving away. It was my ability for myself to think. So leaving that cult wasn't just like leaving a group, it was rebuilding my entire understanding of reality, who I was, what did I actually believe in, what was really mine, and what was given to me by the cult. So that took years, a lot of years, and then it came the depression. Not the kind of sadness that people talk about after a bad day. It's the kind that makes you question your whole reality, your future, your purpose. You know, there were moments where getting through the day was difficult enough. I wouldn't even choose to go through that, but I survived it. Then it was a car accident where I almost lost my arm. And I remember those thoughts when I had that car accident because my big brother died in a car accident. So in the moment, I felt like I was going to die. I remember wondering if I was going to lose my arm. And that's just like a way that life can remind you that you can't control everything. Everything can disappear in a second. And somehow, here I am, still building, still breathing, still dreaming. And then, after all of that, I left Hydro-Quebec, a stable career, a good salary, a future that, on paper, that made perfect sense. People sometimes think it was brave to leave my career, but honestly, it was terrifying. Because for the first time in a long time, I had no map, no guarantees, no certainty, you know? And now that I'm trying to move to Dominican Republic, and I'll tell you something, I'll make a confidence. I secretly thought that moving here would solve all my problems, but it didn't. I thought that new country, new people, new life, I felt that maybe things would be easier. But life doesn't work like that. You still get betrayed, you still get hurt, you still lose people, you still feel lonely, you know? You still wake up some mornings wondering if you're making the biggest mistake of your life. Of course, the scenery changed. There's no winter, I'm not cold like I used to be. So, but you don't necessarily change. You have to change yourself, not just the scenery. And maybe that's exactly the point because eventually I stopped trying to build the perfect life. I started trying to become the man that could handle any type of life that was given to me. So that's a completely different goal. Today, people sometimes ask me if I'm scared that my business fails, Destinos VIP, if it doesn't work, What's Up Quebec, if it doesn't work, my consulting business, if it doesn't work, my boxing projects, if it doesn't work. Am I scared? Of course I'm scared. I'm scared that that YouTube channel doesn't go anywhere. I'm scared that I'll be making bad decisions. I'm scared of wasting my time. I'm scared of failing. Those thoughts still visit me sometimes. But the difference is they don't stay for a very long time. Because every time they come, I remind myself, what if it doesn't work? I did it before. I'm still here. I rebuilt before when the cult ended. I still did. When the depression hit, I still did. When the car accident happened, I still did. When I walked away from my career, I still did. When my ex-girlfriend left me, I still did. And I think that's where confidence really comes from. Not believing that your plans are perfect, not believing you can't fail. Because honestly, I've started putting my faith in my plans. Because plan changes, businesses fail, relationships end, people leave, life surprises you. And I've started putting my faith in something that is more solid, my ability to rebuild. Because that's one thing that life has proven me over and over again. No matter what happened, eventually I found a way to step back up. And maybe that's what growing up really is. Because when you're young, you spend so much energy trying to build a life where nothing can go wrong. No, I don't think that's possible. I think the goal is becoming someone who trusts himself enough to face whatever goes wrong next. That's a much quieter kind of confidence. It's not loud, it's not motivational. It doesn't tell you you're going to win regardless. It doesn't scream in big buildings telling, yeah, you're gonna make it. It only whispers, you'll figure it out. And honestly, that has brought me more peace than certainty ever did. So let me ask you something. When you think about your own life, what have you already survived that you rarely give yourself credit for? What's one moment that you thought you was gonna die or everything was gonna be destroyed, but it didn't? Are you trying to build a life where nothing ever goes wrong? Or are you trying to become someone who knows he has the ability to rebuild even when it does? And maybe that's the biggest question of all. If you truly trusted yourself to rebuild, if you really trusted yourself to rebuild, what would you finally have the courage to do? So that's the real question. That's some food for thought. So, I don't know, man. That's just something I had on my mind. So I wanted to share with you guys. So that episode is different, it's real special. So once again, thank you for following me. Hit the subscribe button. Peace.